Hey, Matt.
Hello.
There.
There.
They are. There. All forms are now covered. Welcome to a Grammar Nazi episode. What are we doing?
This is the Gamers 2 podcast featuring Nathan and Matthew for the week of October 19th, 2018.
Yeah, I mean, I remember that. I was hoping for a little bit more out of it.
That's all. We're chilling. Like
Yeah,
always.
we're always really chill. I was just hoping for like a little. I mean, there's 4 dips off the page. Look at your sound waves during your intro. It's all the way to the left, which is nothing.
Oh, okay. Weird.
Well, I mean, you're always lower than I am on that chart anyway, because I have an abrasive voice.
An abrasive voice.
It's abrasive and abusive to the eardrums of today's youth. So we're doing a
file?
no. I am not on lists, and I can still go near schools. So we're doing that thing, and it's normally a gaming thing.
Games.
I don't know. There's maybe 3 people that listen to this that'll understand what that joke is from. But what have you been up to since the last time we have blessed people with our voices?
Let's see here.
That much, huh?
Yeah, right? No, games wise, I was chipping through trying to get to the platinum of God of War. And then I stopped with 2 trophies.
Boy.
2 trophies left. Got to finish collecting the artifacts, which isn't really a big deal. There's not a lot of them. The second one is the fucking Odin Ravens.
Yep.
Which
Ravens
there's 51 of them.
Yep, and I don't know if there's a good guide out still.
Oh, I don't know. I have probably...
Because you still have to go through like the entire level and wonder which ones you're missing.
Yeah.
There's no way to tell which one you're actually missing.
Yeah. So that'll be like, I'm really bored someday. Let me just knock this out real quick.
Boy.
Did the Xbox Game Pass to get Forza Horizon.
Yeah, yes, Horizon 4. And now I have it as well. And now it is time for me to kick your ass.
Yeah,
boy.
Probably. I've decided I'm going to try to get into the car tuning a little bit to try to
something I have never done in those games.
Same.
Last one I did it in was Need for Speed Most Wanted. No, Need for Speed Pro Street.
Yeah.
Because you needed to tune cars certain ways to do like the wheelie competitions.
The Audi TT forced me into it because the thing we're talking about, like it understeers so heavily. And like
I'm down to get to like a really nerdy level with you on this of like, all right, these are our 2 cars, right? Depending on which cars we have, and like we'll give ourselves like a time through playing and actually get up money and get like the wheel jackpots and stuff like that, and be like, all right, this is my car, and then this is your car, and when we just race right next to each other, and they're like, all right, I'm now going to change this by 0.01.
The issue with that though is like there's no good way to do it without saying, all right, we're going to stick in this class and we're not going to exceed this class.
Yeah, that's true.
Because like once you know.
But we can have one. We could have one in each class.
True. You dump X amount of money into a car, and it becomes like class S2 or whatever the highest one is.
I think it's S2.
But yeah. So there's that. What else have I been doing? The new season of Sword Art started. I don't know if that happened last week or not.
I don't think it did.
Well, I think it might have started last week, but I didn't watch it last week.
It never came up last week.
So they did a extended episode on the first release, and then the second episode, watched that, which was interesting.
Nice.
It's good. Definitely dumped money into the budget for the animations. I watched Once Bitten.
Twice Shy?
Old 80s movie.
Well, you know the saying that I finished, right?
No.
Once bitten, twice shy?
No, never heard.
It's a saying. All right.
Okay. What's it mean? Do we know?
I think it's the idea that if you've been wrong, then you're sketchy of getting wrong again. It might be a book. It might be a song.
Well, there's definitely a Once Bitten song.
Yeah, but that's specifically Once Bitten, Twice Shy. Anyway, what you were talking about. Yes, Once Bitten.
Are you familiar with this movie?
Nope.
Okay, so it's an 80s movie. Has Jim Carrey in it. He plays like a teenager. And the whole idea is that like he's a virgin teenager.
Okay.
Who wants to get laid, and he comes across this vampire lady who wants to suck his blood because he's a virgin.
I want to suck your blood.
And,
I sound like I'm from Queens.
The antics, well, now you just sound like you're from fucking, I don't know, Mario or something.
Ray Romano.
I
live in Queens.
Jesus.
Sorry.
Antics ensue, and, it's a funny movie. Funny 80s movie.
Is it like Ventura Wild, or is it not?
No.
Yeah, because he's always...
there's definitely Jim Carrey moments in it, for sure.
Oh, okay.
Just his crazy facial expressions and, like, the way he, his body movements and stuff. But, yeah. And the girl in it is, like, spectacularly gorgeous to my eye. Not the vampire, but his girlfriend.
Oh. All right.
But beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So
Once Bitten, Twice Shy is a saying.
Okay.
A song by apparently Great White. I don't know what that is. It's also apparently a 1975 song written and recorded by Ian Hunter from his debut solo album, Ian Hunter. And there's a bunch of other ones that are like, what does it mean?
What does it mean? Yeah, so that's what I've been doing. There's nothing else new there, I don't think, other than those things. Low-key week.
Low-key, living on the down low, as once again, children say. I'm going to stop trying to make children references.
Yeah, what's up with that?
I don't know. We're gonna get away from it. As the elderly say, once bitten, twice shy. Kids don't know that. Kids only know Fortnite dances.
Let me floss over here.
Yeah, don't say floss. You're going to have 6 other people wondering what flossing is, and they're going to Google the wrong thing.
Google it.
Don't.
Googly.
Yeah,
dude,
honestly,
Forza Horizon. Speaking of Forza Horizon, there's googly eye sunglasses you can get.
I want googly eye headlights.
That would also be awesome.
Microsoft, talk to me. Let's do something. Yeah. Sounds like you had a fun time then. Fun week. Yeah, so I've been up to the huge. The huge, as they say. I've been playing. My WoW time is now run out, so that is done.
Goodbye, WoW.
MLB has been kind of put on the back shelf for right now.
Goodbye, MLB.
Jamming to FIFA.
FIFA 19.
Playing Ring of Elysium.
Ring of Elysium.
And now I have Horizon 4, so that's where we are.
We can race and get angry. Well, I could get angry and you could be like, oh, I love this.
Oh, this game's so good. I'm so good at it. That's why I enjoy it. No, it's a good time. I'm a fan of it. Obviously, you saw how far I am. I'm sure you're the same distance. We're both not through where we were in the demo.
Yeah.
So we're just kind of getting back into that point. I just want to start getting to that point where we're ranking up like crazy, and it's just like free car, money, new car, free car. Give me the auction.
I already got hosed by one of my spins. So
give me access to the auction house because I can just buy all the cars off there that I want.
My first spin of the the funky wheel there.
Yeah, level up wheel.
Yeah. It gave me like the worst possible. Like it wasn't bad. Nothing's bad when you win it,
Right, it's free, yeah.
But it was like the worst thing you could get on the fucking wheel. It was like 15,000 credits or something.
Oh yeah,
when, like you could have won like a fucking
$70,000 car or
like
Horizon
it was a
edition?
fucking Forza Horizon edition Lamborghini. Like
those are $1 million credits easy.
Yeah. I was like, you serious?
And then I've been watching the sports. I've been doing the sports thing, NBA. NBA has started. NFL is still going on. MLB is coming to an end here soon.
That's a prime sports.
Yeah, they're all overlapping. NHL is going on. We're all just.
That's a interesting motion.
It's a 4-way scissor. Anyway, don't try to replicate that with your hands. And then I watched Justice League.
Yeah. You said I think you watched it last week, didn't you?
I watched Batman v Superman last week.
Oh yeah.
Now I watched Justice League. So Steppenwolf.
Yes.
Actually now makes sense to me.
Yes.
And I won't just reference music by them.
I've never actually watched Justice League. Now I'm thinking about it. I've never actually watched the movie.
It's honestly I enjoyed it. It's not great.
The only thing I remember is like Superman's pissed that he got brought back
for about 5 minutes.
Okay. So
honestly not even really. It might be 5 minutes. That scene might have been 5 minutes.
Okay. All right, cool.
But there's not anything like I could have honestly the weird part, I could have had a few more puns.
More puns.
Or like shitty one-liners. There's just moments where I wanted a shitty one-liner.
And they weren't in there.
Yeah, it was something like,
how bad's the CGI on the mustache?
There's no mustache.
Yeah, that's fine. That's the point.
Oh, you mean not seeing it?
Yeah.
It wasn't
okay
that bad. There was only there was a time where Steppenwolf says something about you guys aren't strong enough, and he's referencing Bat, Aqua, Wonder, Flash, and Cyborg.
Okay.
And it's before Superman. They don't think he's coming yet.
Okay.
Because he's been pissed. He got pissed off and then ran away. And Lois is like...
Classic Superman.
Like, right. And Lois is going through her, like, we got to bring you back to being you, and yada, yada.
That means I have to bang you.
Like... Yeah. I got to bang you. I got to see Martha. We got to go through this whole thing again. But he shows up, and it's like, as he says that line, like, you're not strong enough. You know he's there already.
Yeah.
And I just wanted him to go, but I am. And then just lay him out. And he doesn't say anything. He says something else, but it's not that
satisfying.
That solid, like, oh, but I am. And then I just wanted him to, like, not, the joking Tom and Jerry, like, taps on his shoulder. He turns around like, huh? And then just boom.
So maybe that's their thing, that DC needs to get their niche. Like,
there were a couple moments watching it where I'm like, one-liner there. There needs to be a one-liner here. And they try to use Flash for some of those one-liners because he's just a kid who's yada yada.
Yeah.
But there's times where I'm like, Batman needed a one-liner. Wonder needed a one-liner. Everybody like just needed these quick, like, every now and then just, really funny. Not even really funny. Like him saying, but I am, isn't even funny. Mm-hmm. It's just like exactly what I'm expecting there.
Yeah. And maybe that's their like niche thing to hit on, is like those, like, be a little bit cheesier.
Yeah, like just actually enjoy the moment.
Yeah.
Like if he realizes, because at that point he knows who he is.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's back to knowing he is a god.
Yeah.
He's not having like that weird battle that he's having in Batman v Superman with his head, and then being angry when he's brought back. And it's just like, oh no, that's right, I am this good. What up, bitch? Just ends him. There's funny interactions with him in the Flash.
Like Superman in the Flash?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Superman's holding off at one point, Cyborg, Wonder Woman, and Aquaman. And the Flash comes trying to run like around them. And when they're showing the Flash, he goes into like the Speed Force. So they're showing him and everything else in super slow-mo around him. And Superman does what he's supposed to do while he's holding him and just turns and looks at him and then keeps,
what?
And then keeps looking at him, and the Flash is like, oh shit. And then they end the movie, I think, with a after credits or in credits scene of them racing.
Oh, I think I've seen that on YouTube or something.
Yeah, they don't actually finish the race, but it's
that's always that thing, like in all the comic books and stuff, where like they race, but you never know what the outcome is. Like
he's like, oh, this is not going to make sense for anybody audio listening, but he's like, all right, so where do you want to race to? And they're just standing on like a road. He's like, I don't know, haven't been to the West Coast before, so shall we? And Superman goes, yeah. Which is a callback to a joke where he doesn't know. Flash is so like innocently kind of stupid while being really smart that he doesn't know his cardinal directions. He's just running at one point. He's like, God, I hope this is east. And then at some point he must have turned around and he's like, this looks more like east now. Not like it really matters. You can run around the world.
So, what's next then for you?
Movie wise?
Are you going to keep going with the DC movies?
Han Solo's next.
You just like, why don't you watch a good movie?
I got to get through them. I got to do it.
Have you seen Wonder Woman?
Yes.
Okay.
I did. I enjoyed that one.
I haven't watched
I mean, I also can't not enjoy it. Gal Gadot's hot, so what do I care?
She's a work of art.
Yeah, honestly, that's a very good way of this. Yeah, a work of art.
Mm-hmm. Even like those photos of her when she's like lounging with her husband, like, and she's like just woke up in the morning, obviously, and like she has no makeup on. She's like drinking coffee.
Yeah, everybody
just looks fucking spectacular.
Every woman that would be like, "Oh God, I'm a hot mess." We're like, "No, you don't understand. Like, I could just sit here and stare at you. I don't even have to. I could just. Yep.
Yeah.
It's a pleasing image to the eye. I think I'm gonna do Han Solo. I still have like some other like good ones I'm supposed to go back to that I know of. Like Magnificent Seven, Hateful Eight. I have those ones that are back there.
Yeah.
That are in the list of things, but it's like I want to try to. They're so far back. I want to try to keep kind of up to date. I still need to watch Deadpool 2 as well, so it'll probably be Han Solo and Deadpool 2.
This is just like reminding me of how few movies I've actually watched recently.
Yeah, this is also reminding me of how many that I have in that folder.
I haven't even seen the first Deadpool.
Really?
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. That's why I'm scared of the second one, but
oh well.
Oh, and then I've been watching Man in the High Castle season 3.
That was a show I wanted to watch that, and I made efforts to watch it, and then I quit because I didn't want to pay Amazon more money.
Yeah, I so enjoy it. I'm just sitting there and I'm like, World War II, and it's alternate timelines. I don't know. It's a good time. The only thing that I've kind of noticed in this one, I feel like we got more sexual.
Dude, sex sells, unfortunately.
Yeah, but I mean, like, it's not HBO sex, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like,
oh, yeah, yeah.
Like, we're not seeing anything. It just starts, and then the next scene, we woke up in the morning. Like, there's no...
Interesting.
Which is whatever, but it's like, oh, now so-and-so sleeping with so-and-so, which is like, okay, that makes sense. Yeah. The other one's sleeping, or like the other one's admitting that he's gay or whatever. Okay, cool, makes sense. Kind of do that before. And then the main character in the last, I think, 3 episodes has slept with 3 to 4 different people. Mm-hmm. And you're like, what? Wait a second.
I feel like there's kind of a disconnect going on between like how sex is perceived in entertainment and how it is in society now almost. Like
I feel like now they're getting there because she slept with 4 people in 4 days, and that's basically the equivalent of real life.
Yeah, but they're always like focusing on it, I feel like, where it's like,
oh yeah, where like today it could be like, oh yeah, I slept with so and so last night. We'd always be like,
all right, well,
okay, cool. Like, what do I care?
Yeah. That kind of feeds into like you're familiar with the show Spartacus, right?
Back in the day,
yeah.
I am familiar to know enough that it exists, and there was a lot of schlong.
So,
other than that, why those are my 2 frames of references? Don't ask.
I mean, I guess there is. I don't know, but
it was a discussion. It was a discussion from James when people were talking. I think about Westworld having a bunch of dick around.
He's like, go watch Spartacus,
or Game of Thrones having a bunch of dick, and they're like, man, they're like the first ones to do it. And he's like, I don't think you understand. Did you watch Spartacus?
That's like, I've been wanting to rewatch it. Like, I've only seen the first 2 seasons of it, and then the main character, like the main actor, died, so they switched him. So I didn't watch it after that.
Ah, purist.
Kind of.
Reject this new Spartacus. I will not watch this with my monocle in.
I wish I had a monocle.
I want a Ponce or Ponce.
Ponce sounds familiar.
It's what TDR had. Teddy Roosevelt.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It's the front glasses with no, basically no frame,
like clips on the nose or whatever.
Pretty much. I don't actually need any glasses. I don't need any of it, but it would just be really funny to wear.
I'll do that for my next set, just so you.
Because like you can wear a monocle. You can wear a monocle almost now, non-ironically. Mm-hmm. You can't wear a pince nez, non-ironically.
I'll fucking show you. All right.
No. Yeah, but it's like you're gonna get more looks, I think, wearing that than you would a monocle.
Dude, this guy came in. I'm tangenting on a tangent now.
We're so far gone.
This dude came into my place of work, and he had the dopest beard I've seen in person recently. It was this straight up, like Civil War style, like the bushy chops, that go into the mustache. I don't know what that's called, but like the bushy chops.
Yeah, without the goatee, missing the goatee part.
Yeah, exactly. But it was like perfectly manicured and perfectly bushy, and it was like you could have put a fucking uniform on him and stuck him in like a black and white photo. He
probably was a reenactor.
I was like, this dude's awesome.
There was a dude serving alcohol in Texas at the wedding we were at.
Of course.
And
Texas. This is great.
Fully twisted both sides mustache up and swirled.
Good man.
And I was like, that I don't even want to know how long that takes you.
A guy came in, another dude had he had the handlebar mustache, not the swirls, but it went straight out like that.
Oh yeah, no, this guy swirled.
And it made me miss my like stupid little like.
Oh, when you would always just sit there and we'd be sitting there, you'd be twirling away.
Yeah, and I got it.
And meanwhile, I do this all the time and bring it down. And I'm covering my mouth as I talked into a mic, which is a really bad idea. I'm just going to keep doing
it. Anyways, where was I tangenting initially? Oh, I kind of want to rewatch Spartacus, but I'm afraid because, like, obviously Samantha will watch it with me, and I just don't know how she'll take like that Showtime sex because it's a Showtime show. And that Showtime sex different from
everybody else
from HBO sex, aka there is schlong.
Oh, it's porn. It's basically porn.
Yeah. So I don't know. The show's good.
It can
be a little off-putting.
It could be a guilty watch.
I don't know.
Sam's not home. I'm watching Spartacus.
You think she ever leaves me alone? Are you kidding me?
That's true. It's the only time I get you alone.
She's playing God of War right now.
I know.
That sounded dirty.
Which was super fun. I know it did. It was super funny because I saw a snap after you had said you were heading up. And it was her. She's like, how I spend my night with a god, and it's a picture of Kratos. And I was like, haha, funny. Wait, are you playing God of War?
Yeah.
Boy. Anyway. But you know what's really far away, Matt? God of War 2.
That's a weird transition.
I had to get into the new releases so we can get into these stories out of our Spartacus thing. If I wanted to be somebody like Spartacus, I could play this first new release and then we'll go from there. How's that sound? Because the first release that I'm going to talk about is the For Honor expansion that came out. So if you had For Honor places, then there's an expansion now. Go nuts. Fun time. Number 2, Lego DC Supervillains for Xbox, PS4, Switch, and PC. Getting rave reviews because does a Lego game review poorly?
Fair point.
Number 3 is NBA 2K Playgrounds 2, Xbox, PS4, and PC. Netflix has canceled Luke Cage. random news update. Iron Fist.
Jessica Jones is next.
Iron Fist, Luke Cage, both gone. Here we go. That entire universe is getting shut down. Number 4 is Starlink. You thought you didn't need a new Toys to Life game. Well, you have it. Starlink for PS4, Xbox, and Switch.
Can we talk about how fucking stupid that is?
We said it was stupid during our E3 episode. What are they thinking?
I don't even I'm kind of curious what the prices are on them because I've seen them. I put them in my hands. They're fairly detailed and they have to be overpriced.
Or correctly priced.
Well, even if they're correctly priced, obviously that would be bad.
Well, that means they're overpriced. Number 5. Well, you get me those numbers. Number 5 is the Jackbox Party Pack number 5. If you like party games and want to play Jackbox, you should do it. PS4, Xbox, PC, and Switch. What? The fact there's a 5th one?
No, I'm
the prices
on these.
Give me them.
Starter pack.
Starter pack has got to be $80.
$74.99.
All right, that was close.
Okay, one of the ships.
Are there different size ships?
There's ships.
Okay.
And then there's pilot packs. And then there's accessories like weapon packs.
Okay, so a ship has to be $25.
$25.
A pilot pack has to be $15.
$8.
Oh, really? Then accessories have to be more than a pilot pack.
$10.
Okay, yeah.
But that's
overall.
And then there's a build your own ship kit that's $20.
Okay, so that's the middle one between the two. Okay. Yes, I mean all the prices sound about what I would guess because $74.99 was the starting point on almost every other starting kit for all the other ones.
It's so ridiculous.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Number 8 is the Dark Souls remastered for Switch, and the Solaire amiibo is out. Praise the sun.
No one can see that.
No one can see that, but I get to have the enjoyment of Matt
I saw the
like
photos
Solaire.
of it. It was of the amiibo. It looks pretty cool.
Yeah,
that's like the one amiibo that I would.
It looks exactly like it's supposed to.
Yeah, which is kind of weird.
Yeah. Number 7 is I Hate Running Backwards for the Switch. I think that's come out to the other stuff already, and the Switch is a port now, but I've talked about that game before. And number 8 is Soul Calibur 6 for PS4, Xbox, and PC. Cool. And now we get into the joy. The headlines from the week that was ending in 10/19. If you count weeks ending in Fridays. Number 1, I'll take number 1. Sony has chosen to delay the PS4 exclusive Days Gone till April 26, 2019. Via the PlayStation blog, quote, "We recently decided to move the release of Days Gone from the crowded February timeframe to April 26, 2019.
It is crowded.
It is crowded.
So
is March.
Probably, well,
February.
Initially releasing, okay, so this was as of, I don't know as of when, but there was 4 games releasing the day that Days Gone was supposed to come out.
Anthem.
Anthem, yep.
Days
Gone, obviously.
Days Gone. It's not Division.
No, I can't.
It's not Resident Evil.
The other 2.
It was a joke that everybody was pushing that same date in February.
Because it was the end of the fiscal year.
Yeah, during the conference. So that's what we said. Everything's going to start getting moved around during that time.
What the hell were the other? Now it's going to bug me because I was like, oh, that's crazy that all 4 of those come out at the same time. Now all I can remember is Anthem.
Resident Evil wasn't then, was it?
No.
Because they wouldn't. I feel like they wouldn't step on their Crackdown.
Crackdown 3, which that got delayed too again, didn't it?
Probably. It's going to. I stand by the fact that it's going to, even if we can't report on it yet.
I heard
report. We don't report.
Yeah. Actually,
what we do is a loose definition of talk.
Yeah. It's like a talk show. There's
caller. Fuck you.
They were talking about, there was a podcast that was talking about Crackdown and theorizing a couple reasons why it keeps getting delayed.
I can theorize 7 different reasons it's getting delayed.
Apparently, which I never, I didn't recall this because obviously I don't give a shit about Crackdown, so I don't really remember anything they talked about. But they're working on tech for it that's basically they're making the game almost completely server based.
Yeah.
So that that was the theory as to why it keeps getting delayed and why it's not getting canceled. It's because they're more worried, they're more interested and invested in the tech than the actual game itself.
Yeah. But yeah, it makes sense. And then it makes sense to not push it into April, or not push it into March, but to push it into April, because March you're still running into everybody else that's going to step into March, which also includes the Division.
Yeah, that game's I don't know. It's
Days Gone.
Yeah,
Days Gone is going to get real testy if it starts getting pushed too far, because you're going to run right into what you don't want to run into, which is The Last of Us.
It's been announced for ever though. Mm-hmm. And we saw an hour of it, and it's just I just don't understand what's going on with this game.
think that is specifically a marketing move, not a development move, though.
Oh yeah, I agree. I just think it's it's in its own right though. As a marketing move, it's somewhat on unsteady ground because the game's been pushed so many times, and we keep hearing about it. And it's
you're
when
already
the fuck is this going to come out?
You're already at not even lukewarm water stage now for interest from people.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Number 2, Splash Damage is no longer developing or updating Dirty Bomb. On their website, they said, quote, "The bottom line is that we can't financially justify continuing to work on the game we love," end quote. Sadness. Not really. I feel like that game's probably run its course. I don't know. You tell me.
I would whistle taps if it wouldn't hurt for people's ears.
You worried about that after saying your voice is abrasive?
Oh, yeah. I feel like even though I do get loud and I can see it on our monitor, when
Can you, though?
well, not right now. I can see it sometimes on the monitor. But when I feel like if a whistling is a high pitch, and that can just that can tonally be weird. Anyway, that's not the point. Yeah, I mean it's kind of one of those ones where Kenny and I were talking about this 2 weeks ago, last week. They had their big 1.0 update, the one that was like supposed to move them out of technically early access and move it to a 1. They weren't even on the front page of Steam when they did it.
Yeah.
They were just like, oh, it's out. And they just, I think, relied on
word of
mouth and a community that had already dwindled so far waiting for the 1.0 update. You would think that with a 1.0 update, you would try to get yourself like front page of Steam and be blasting it all out and be running these deals on these starter packs that they sold and stuff like that to try to get people in. Because it's a good free-to-play game, but it just... I think did a weird marketing thing there where they didn't try to my vision of what I see. I didn't see them anywhere when it happened.
Yeah,
I knew it happened, but I didn't see it happening anywhere. So
they did mention in the press release that they are. I can't remember the exact wording that they used, but they basically were like, we're in a good position. We have several announced and unannounced games that we're working on.
And we're leaving the servers on as long as there is a meaningful number of players still on them.
Yeah. Blah, 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 blah.
Number 3. Tree Fitty. I get that like that sponsor, Tree Fitty. South Park. Woman, you can't give that Paleolithic monster no money. Number 3. Mom and pop video game shops have been told by their distributors that they won't be receiving Red Dead Redemption 2 until November. There was some speculation that this was purposefully done to stop any sales from happening before the street date, which you still are selling it to Target, so that's probably not going to happen.
Zing!
Suck it, Red. In an article published on Kotaku, some shop owners and distributors attribute the delay to supply problems of discs since Red Dead Redemption 2 requires two Blu-ray discs. The installation size of the game has been confirmed to be 99 gigabytes for PS4 and 107 gigabytes for the Xbox One.
That's a huge bitch.
Yeah, so how many mom and pop shops are there?
Dude, I asked myself the same question, but it turns out there's a good amount. And I felt like, after reading the article, I felt like really bad for them because the one of the owners was like, yeah, I spent over $3,000 on, promotional signing and like stuff. I had t-shirts specially made and all this, like,
all this press kit stuff. And everything.
Yeah, and like then we're like, that's a potential like $60,000 in sales that I'm gonna lose because gamers don't wait. And I was like, that fucking sucks, man.
Yeah.
Like,
and it's funny. It's where we live is part of it. Not seeing a mom and pop shop. Like technically, Replay would have been it, but they're gone.
Yeah, there's like game craze now, but I don't think they really do new games.
And even then, they're in Syracuse.
I think there's one in Sangertown.
Is there?
Yeah.
News to me.
Shows how much we go.
But they mostly do retro.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I don't think they do new games.
Like their whole thing is that if I walk in and look for my Super Nintendo that's upstairs to buy games for it, I know Game Craze is where I can go. But there's I don't know. I mean, I'm sure in cities there's obviously much more, and I would probably rather go to a mom and pop at that point than go to a GameStop or a Target or a Walmart, yada yada. But it sucks.
It does suck, and it's not like a trend that I want to see happen.
Oh yeah, the less money going into corporate shills, the better. Suck it, corporates. You corporations, you're not people. I don't care what the government thinks of you.
I'm assuming, are you doing physical or digital?
Am I doing fiscal?
Physical or digital?
I'm doing physical.
Okay, as per usual.
Yeah,
you like that trade-in money.
I like the trade-in money, but it's one. I might have to. I don't know. We'll see, Because if the thing that I'm kind of thinking in my head, right, is if I do the digital and the online's really good, then I don't have to just hold on to a disc only for the online.
Yeah.
And I can just have it and call it a day.
Yeah.
Which then literally the thought in my head now is like, why am I not doing digital? Because I still have the GTA disc.
Yeah.
Which is not worth anything trading it in right now.
Yeah, I feel like most likely if it at least lives up to GTA Online, we're gonna keep it long enough to where it'll be worthless.
It'll be completely worthless. So I might as well just go digital with it. But stuff like sports games, I turn over all the time. Yeah. Or like Spider-Man, I beat it. I'm not holding on.
Yeah.
There's no online component to Spider-Man. So I don't have, Anyway. Sorry, moms and pops.
Number 4.
Also, mom and pop video games. Women don't game. Pfft, what is this? 2018?
I can hear the mob coming up the street for you.
Oh, that's just the Amish.
Oh, okay.
They don't know what video games are.
Nice.
It's funny because it's probably true.
Fucking, I have to tell you a story after this.
I can tell you a story how they shit all in front of my house one day.
Oh, well, yeah, they have horses, all right? What do you expect?
That horse shit for about 30 feet.
It
was impressive.
Probably stank, too. You should have grabbed it.
Luckily,
and then
so this is the funny
part. You got
part.
a garden? You got a garden around
No,
here?
I don't have a garden around here. What do I look like? A useful human? Get out of here. No, so it was funny because, this is a complete side chat. About right there.
Yeah.
Then they stopped until they passed the driveway and then kept going. And I was like, I don't know, horse, if you were just thinking, but I respect you. You didn't shit in a place where I have no choice but to hit it. You gave me a chance to not get
you have
covered.
A low car, too. There's a possibility that you might you might be plowing.
Yeah, I got that, low riding Lotus Elise. I put my ass to the ground.
When are you going to get one of those?
Somebody I saw a third one at work this year.
They're not. That's the thing.
So I sent the orange one. There's a dealer in Watertown somewhere.
Yeah, that's the thing about those cars. They're not. I mean, it's still a lot of money for us plebs.
I mean, like minimum is like $30K.
But I've seen them less than that. I've seen them 20s.
I've seen certain ones less than that. But
if you're not like
choice one.
Yeah, that's your problem.
But I'm saying a choice one that's not a elite one.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm saying one that's not like noticeably used is still going to sit you like 27 to 30. One that's above that is going to be pristinely brand new, and one that's below that might not be as pretty as it is in my head, but it'd still be one. So that's where it's like,
I think they have Toyota motors in them. I think, right?
I don't remember. I don't know if they still do. I don't know if they've changed with the New Year's, but anyway. So there was there was a white one for a while. Then there was this green. There was a green and yellow one that I've seen before. Then there was the orange one that I sent you.
Yeah.
Then I think I have a picture of it on my phone. There was a black one, spoilered, glossed. I walked out of the back of my building. I saw the hood, which was parked all the way in the very last row from where I was standing, and I went, "That's a Lotus." It's one of those things. When we were talking about seeing people for familiar faces, there's certain things like when I see certain people, I could see the back of their head from 150 feet and go, I know exactly who that is, and they haven't even turned around yet. And I'm just like, that's Matt. What is Matt doing here? And I can see you like from the other end of the Carousel Mall and be like, yeah, I know that's him.
Mm-hmm.
Now I have to find this really awkward way of trying to run into him and be like, hey, what are you doing here? Or texting you when I purposely avoid you and be like, get out of my mall. But yeah, I just wanted to. Anyway, number 4, get me off these tangents because I am just going to keep going.
Sad anime news.
Hentai is not art.
That's just, listen. All right, no. Funimation.
I'm going to get so many r/neckbeards in here. Whoo, boy.
Funimation.
My lady.
Has not renewed their partnership with Crunchyroll. So naturally, their respective anime licenses won't be available on each other's services. Sony recently purchased Funimation and apparently plan on taking Funimation in a different direction, whatever that means. Just threw that in there. I don't know. It's relevant to some people's lives if you like anime.
I like that you say whatever that means.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever that means. We'll figure it out, whatever it means.
It's basically like, we want our own money. We think we can do a better job than you. I don't know. I don't really know what to expect from Sony with something like that. Like, I don't know if they plan on, like, try to just be a straight up competitor to Crunchyroll, or if they're going to maybe, like, start to do the Netflix thing and start, like, you know, funding animation studios to make shows.
Who knows? The move to like a Netflix for animation would be weird, but I could see it happening.
Yeah, that's like a kind of like. I mean, I wouldn't say Crunchyroll's on that level, but that's kind of like what they already are, to a certain extent.
All right, I wanted to say I took a picture, but now every app on my phone is telling me I don't have it, so I'm going to ignore that.
Okay.
But it was a really nice one.
I bet it was. I bet it was gorgeous.
And I was like, I kind of want to just wait for whoever this is.
Just like stalk them and see who it is.
I might know who it is. That's the thing, is I might know who it is. And just be like, I need to send this person an email and be like, do you own the Lotus out back? I want to talk to you.
Let me drive. I want
to pet the rabbit, George. Can I pet the rabbit?
Oh God. I don't know if you should say that to him.
I don't know if I can say that sentence without sounding offensive. I was offered to drive that car once.
Well,
told you about that, right?
You're foolish.
Dad was standing outside one of the Lotuses. The guy was like, "Oh yeah, have him come around. He can drive it." And he's like, "He can't drive manual." He's like, "Oh, all right, he can go for a ride then."
I have faith. You could figure it out very quickly.
Oh yeah, I feel like I can figure it out, but I don't feel like I should figure it out in somebody else's Lotus.
It's the best time. Someone else's clutch.
There's no time for there's no time like the present. Just grinding. Can you give me a control over there so I can see how bad I just peaked on that? Not bad. Perfect. Number 5. The biggest story of the week.
Yeah, I guess it kind of is.
Feature news. Feature story.
So it's just a really long quote. So
yeah, I know it is. But it was literally, I think, what every gaming podcast talked about the entire week. And we're no different. Because we are shills to the machine.
I mean, yeah, we're probably going to shit on it more than most people do.
I think 50-50, I think we will. Number 5. Rockstar co-founder Dan Houser started a bit of an uproar this past week when he commented in an interview with Vulture that the team behind Red Dead Redemption 2 had sometimes worked 100-hour work weeks. He later clarified thanks, tablet, for formatting that weird. He later clarified his comments in a statement to Variety. Quote, "The point I was trying to make in the article was related to how the narrative and the dialogue in the game was crafted, which was mostly what we talked about, not about the different processes of the wider team. After working on the game for 7 years, the senior writing team, which consists of 4 people, Mike Unsworth, Rupert Humphreys, Laszlo, and myself, had, as we always do, 3 weeks of intense work when we wrapped everything up. 3 weeks, not years. We have all worked together for at least 12 years now, and we feel we need this to get everything finished. More importantly, we obviously don't expect anyone else to work this way. Across the whole company, we have some senior people who work very hard purely because they're passionate about a project or their particular work, and we believe that passion shows in the games we release. But that additional effort is a choice, and we don't ask or expect anyone to work anything like this. Lots of other senior people work in an entirely different way, and are just as productive. I'm just not one of them." End quote. As a result of the backlash from the original interview, Rockstar has given their employees permission to openly speak about their work conditions, and it seems like everything is on the up and up.
For shizzle.
My nizzle. Thoughts, Mashu?
Just classic case of people blowing things out of proportion before,
Oh, that's the angle we're going to shit on.
Clarifying all the facts.
All right.
Well, I don't know.
I agree. I'm just continue.
I don't know.
I just thought we were going to go into the idea that crunch is stupid.
Well, crunch is stupid, but like I get the reason why it happens.
Right.
Know?
I mean, literally, we crunched for 5 years. Well, you've crunched longer, but for 5 years, every single year when we hit Black Friday. Not the same.
Yeah.
Do we also want to snap by 3 a.m. at the first person that says, hey, can you move this pallet 3 inches to the left?
Yeah.
I'll break your hand. I'll run your foot over with the pallet jack with 3 pallets of water on top of it. I don't care. But it happens. Like I think the problem comes that he didn't specify before that it was just them. I think that's where he kind of somewhat screwed himself. But it's the same thing where it's like that's gonna happen. It's not necessarily a bad thing either, but it comes down to managers who are also good. Like they're the senior guys, so it's a little different. And I've never technically held the manager role. Technically. Have I had duties and responsibility? Yeah, that's not the point. What I'm saying is, in situations where you and I have both been looked at as leaders, we also would both go to people on our team probably and go, what are you still doing here? Leave. Like I yell at my boss at work now when her time is coming around and she's still sitting at her computer. I'm like, go home. You need to just leave. Because they just will keep going. And it's like, no, just stop. It'll all be here tomorrow. Walk away. But there are points where deadlines have to get hit. We've already pushed this. I'm not saying we can't push it more. But certain things happen only at certain times. Certain deadlines have to get hit. That's just what it is. Sometimes people thrive in crunch. Other people, like, there was a talk from a story that I'm going to parse because I don't want to completely just rip it. But it's like, one guy went to one of his editors because he was there so late and he'd been there so much. And he's like, you need to leave. Like, just go home. Stop, like, working. He's like, no, like, I want to do this. I want to finish this. He's like, all right, as long as you understand what you're doing, I'm not making you doing it. I would rather you go home and relax. But if you are passionate about what you're doing and you want to stay, okay, that's different. So, it's a 50-50 edge. And then there's the whole thing where our crunch from retail, overtime is the devil.
Yeah, I don't think it's a direct...
But there's...
a direct comparison. Cause it's
No, but there's situations where people might have been working crunch and say they pull a 50-hour week, right? But they didn't get overtime, so they got hit at 40 hours, which is illegal, by the way. But, you know what I mean? There's those weird situations where, okay, they don't get paid overtime. Well, it's like, then why are you there any longer than you have to be?
Mm-hmm. It's just interesting to me that everyone jumps to conclusions with this particular thing so quickly. Like they're kind of like they're looking for something to get at Rockstar with, or like someone of Rockstar's caliber. And then it's like you'd think though the way that the quality of games that Rockstar puts out, the consistency, that if there was a fundamental issue with the way that they make games as far as crunch goes, we would have heard about it, regardless of their policies.
And the other problem, too, is that they're publicly traded.
Yeah.
Which everybody always gets so scary of investors, which understandably, I get it. I don't like it, but I get it. But that's why people like Bethesda and ZeniMax, who own them, who are privately and not publicly traded, can just hang out and don't have to worry.
Yeah.
Like, no, we're not beholden to somebody else. We're beholden to ourselves to get this done. That's it.
It's just funny. I think it's also funny because, like, how often does someone from Rockstar do an interview?
Never. Literally never. They never come out.
How many interviews are we going to see?
Now? None. Absolutely none. Oh, you screwed up this chance. Not doing it again. The other thing, too, so I'll pose this situation to you. Say it's not just the four of them, right? Say it's multiple people and they're being jammed, and like Telltale was notorious for crunch time and problems. Yeah. Say you're being jammed. They say, listen, we don't want to crack the whip on our team. We want to let them do this. There's two things that happen. I'm gonna pose 4 scenarios, actually. Scenario number 1. Quantic Dream.
Okay.
When's your game coming out? Ha ha ha. It's a jab, right? They've, it's delay all the time. Final Fantasy. Literally, when the fuck is your game coming out? We've been here for 15 years. What are we doing? The other two. Are you willing to pay $80 because we're going to delay this game a year or however long, say, but because we delay it, we have to continue to pay operational costs as we're having this. Are you okay to us treat our team as humans, let them have a livelihood, and then you pay $80 instead of $60 to make up that time that we extended?
Are you asking me that?
I'm asking you that part because the first three scenarios are just jokes.
The problem...
But are jokes, but are also the problem, where if they delay to have a livelihood, people give them shit for constantly delaying.
Yeah. I'm always of the mind, like, Days Gone, for example. It's been delayed, I don't know, 3-4 times now.
Well, I think it's only been delayed twice, and it's been without a release date for like the first 3 times we saw it.
Yeah. Most likely, I'll probably end up getting that game just because it's like single player, story driven, like action adventure game. I'm gonna probably get
it. It could be one. It could be one that it runs into the situation where I wait,
regardless of like
for a sale
delay.
or deal or something like that. But yes, I know what you mean.
In a perfect world, if the situation was like, "Hey, we're a game developer. Here's the deal. We need to make this game cost $80 for so that we can our employees can have normal lives and we can pay them what they deserve. No problem whatsoever. But obviously, this isn't a perfect world, and no one would ever do that. And if they did, they would be like, "Oh, greedy, bored. We're going to take." But that's the thing
is, I also think that a bunch of it comes down to the way they pitch the $80 message.
Yeah.
If we're saying we're trying to treat our team better by giving them longer, which is why we're saying this game costs more, other than the fact that the game is Red Dead 2. Like in this case, it's Red Dead 2, so it's going to be massive anyway. It's probably already worth $80 as it sits. Then it's like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. But when you say it's $80 because look at all these fucking skins we put in the game, you're like, well, now I don't know if that I'm on board with it, because I like the idea that I'm an ethical human, but only when I'm asked if I'm an ethical human. Because that's the other thing, right? If you went around and asked all these people, hey, you think we should treat people like humans? Yeah. You're going to buy Red Dead Day 1, aren't you? But that's not what I at. And then it's like, but do you really, that's the other, it's such a weird thing. Do you vote with your wallet in this situation? No, I don't think so, because you would think that the people that are crunching want this to get out and be seen and be like, man, look at all these people appreciating my art.
I don't see this. I guess it comes down to the whole idea of crunch. Like the way that Rockstar is portraying their crunch, I guess, I have no issue with it because I believe what they're saying. The message they're putting out.
Right. I believe what Hauser's saying. Yeah.
Which is, like it's optional and we don't expect or want this from our employees.
Yeah, and I'm sure people pull extra hour weeks. I pull extra hour weeks. Everybody pulls an extra hour week every now and then. But and him saying he did it for 3 weeks out of 7 years, like sometimes I honestly wouldn't mind, not 100 hours, but like there were times where even when we were together, once again, there's a complete difference because it's retail and it doesn't actually matter. But like especially the Black Friday week, the post Black Friday week, we have 240 sales planners we need to set to reset the store off the giant nightmare mess that it was. I would have had no problem coming in every night and doing all of them with like just me and you doing 240.
Yeah.
Because we would have gotten them all done. It all would have been fine. And we could have been like, cool, we're done. This task is fully accomplished. So for them to write a giant story in which they probably do need to have all of them there to like make sure all these webs, I can only imagine like a storyboard of Red Dead with all the side quests and everything is fucking insane. So for them to be like, okay, we need to all have this, and then you don't want to run into the situation where you leave at 5 o'clock or whenever. You leave at 5 o'clock and you come back in the next morning and you're like, where the fuck were we? What were we talking about? How the hell does John get from here to here? And you're like, oh God. So I can see it in certain situations, but whatever. Yeah. It is what it is.
For shizzle.
You're still going to buy the game.
Yeah.
I am, yeah.
Mm-hmm. This is not, I would not, die on that hill in this case.
I would die on the hill that crunch is bad, but no. Take that back. No, I wouldn't. Because I think there's justified situations, especially if it's not, like that sounds like it's self-inflicted crunch, not
mandatory crunch.
Yeah,
which a lot of game
mandatory crunch. I will stand on the hill of you don't need, but self-inflicted crunch is different.
Yeah.
Listen, you commit suicide, it's different than somebody murdering you. That's all I'm saying.
That's very true.
It's kind of the same thing. Nothing. Yeah, get to the other one. Let's talk about more dead people. That's an awful transition. 6 is you, by the way. You're on even. You're on even. You're even numbers.
It's over here thinking about other things. John Bain, known as maybe no. John Bain, known as Total Biscuit, will be inducted into the Esports Hall of Fame. Total Biscuit was a well-known game critic, YouTuber, and podcaster who recently passed away from cancer. In a statement about the induction, ESL Gaming said, quote, his contributions to the industry are immeasurable, and as such, we are honored to induct him into the Esports Hall of Fame as the first non-player. His legacy will live on, end quote.
Pretty cool.
Definitely, for sure. I hope they keep it to a minimum, though, the non-players thing. Just because
honestly, I thought it was interesting that he's the first non-player. Because I feel like casters, there's certain casters that I'm sure you would consider like legendary. There's specifically one in China, Korea.
Better get that right.
Korea, that I can think of immediately. He's a league guy. He's just a giant hype man and everything. And it's like, he is like that. That's games like focus of not necessarily caster, but like hype man, and he would easily be in their Hall of Fame, I think. So for him to be the first non-player, like you're not going to have, I don't know, like coaches or owners or casters would have been like the first 3 things I can think of that would have been considered, I guess, non-players.
Yeah.
And for none of them to be there, I don't know who is in the Esports Hall of Fame.
That was the other part of it that I was iffy about. I mean, because like esports have been around for a while, but they haven't really been like as established.
I mean, I feel like you put all of Korea as a country in there, so I don't know. But it cool. It's a cool way to. I think it's going to be the first of many posthumous awards that he wins.
Yeah.
Also, that is your word of the week. Posthumous. I think I'm pronouncing that right.
You know what's a word I really like? Cadaver. I don't know why. I really like that word. Cadaver.
Dead guy. He says cadaver.
Cadaver. It's a good word. Just a fun word to say.
I was asked for a word earlier this week. I gave them exasperation.
Ooh, that's a good one.
That's pretty good. I was pretty happy with myself for that one. Yes, posthumous. I think he's going to get noticed again at Game Awards. I'm like 98% positive.
What the hell is that award?
Trending Gamer.
That's the one.
That would be really interesting to give him Trending Gamer posthumously.
Was he nominated? I
think he had been before, but I'm not positive.
Oh, maybe they'll give him like a lifetime achievement or something.
They might give him lifetime achievement.
Because that did Kojima win that last?
Kojima's won it. Then he won it once, but then last year was the guy that they were going to give it to, but then they got the giant scandal for.
Oh, yeah, Atari, right?
Yeah. They got that scandal, so he stepped away from the award. So, and I don't remember if they just decided then to acknowledge women in games was their turnaround onto that. It was just like a group award situation.
It's kind of a cop out.
Yeah, I mean they all are whenever that happens, but I don't remember who they gave it to last year now. But I think Kojima won one, and then that group won one. So they could give it to him, or they give a Total Biscuit award for that's what the Trending Gamer one is.
Yeah,
but they could make it the Total Biscuit award, which is the same. Like
that'd be kind of cool. Actually,
they could name it after him instead of it being the trending gamer.
Or
it is the Total Biscuit Trophy or something like that. Like
or they could make a Total Biscuit award that's like given to people who could give like almost like a lifetime achievement award, but like contributions to gaming.
Yeah, like there's a trending gamer, which would be the hypest of the year.
Yeah.
Then there could be the Total Biscuit Award, which is the equivalent of a lifetime achievement award for somebody in the creator scene, not the dev side. And then lifetime could stay on the dev side, and that's how they could do it. Jeff Keighley, you're welcome. Number 7. The PlayStation 4 had some issues this past week. In case you haven't figured out, this is also a PlayStation podcast. PlayStation 4 had some issues this week. Some players found that their consoles would become bricked after receiving a message that contained a specific set of symbols. The temporary fix was to set your messages to private only. That's what I get for being Ron Burgundy. Sony has issued a firmware update that permanently fixes the problem as far as we know.
I've been editing this as we go, and I realized that yours doesn't auto-update.
That's what I get for using an old tablet. I like that you've been editing it, and I still Ron Burgundy myself no matter what.
I wonder if it's like, that's just weird that the app doesn't do that. It's not your tablet.
It's probably because the app's not updated anymore because this version of Android's not supported.
Is the device not supported? Like to the whatever?
Yeah, I would have to sideload it. I just haven't done it. But it's part of that. All right, so ignoring the PlayStation thing for a second. Part of that's funny because one of my alarms on that is set to give me the news in the morning. Mm-hmm. And the news is the same for the same day every single year. About 4 years ago when I believe a college football player came out about being gay. So that is what goes off every morning at like 5:30 or something. It's like,
so
in
random.
Sports news, so-and-so came out and his father said something, and then it cuts itself off. And I'm just like, same news every day.
And you're like, I really need to turn that off.
But I never do. It's just weird. I think it's because it's a mix-up. It's a different voice versus hearing the same alarm over. So I just use it for like a variety thing because I suck at waking up.
I do too. The doc wakes me up every morning. Gillette. Yeah.
We watched this G Fuel commercial, didn't we?
I watched it.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, I think you sent it to me. That was really good.
It was good.
Anyway, yeah, PlayStation 4 bricking messages.
Yeah,
it's not uncommon. It's happened before. There was the one that were going around with like iPhones, I think, and Androids.
Yeah. Yep.
Where you could get sent certain things and you would your phone's gone.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I honestly was impressed that they took care of it so quickly.
I was impressed I took care of it quickly, and I'm also always impressed by the people that find it.
Yeah, I know.
Because like, what are you doing?
The series of events and how quickly it happened was actually really fascinating. Because like, it happened, it was posted to Reddit, and like basically it happened, and the issue was solved like inside of like a week.
Oh, it was almost like only 3 days.
3 days, I think. I was like, God damn, that was quick.
Hey, this message bricks your stuff. Set it to private. Hey, firmware patch. Talk to you guys later.
Yeah.
And then they like step out. It's like the Homer in the bush meme where they just step out and they're like, firmware patch. And then they just fade away back into the bush and like, we now wait to give them another announcement. Crossplay. Name change.
That's kind of Sony, actually.
That's what I mean. They just drop something and they're like, we'll go away. We give them a hit, then we run away. Run away.
This next one's kind of like a conversation thing.
What? On a podcast? Matthew, stop that.
Being a PC Master Race.
Were you? Oh yeah, that was right. It was at work when I did that. Yeah. The correct way to play.
Yep.
I can't tell if he actually took offense to that. By the way,
no,
I'm sure he gets the meme.
Yeah,
but it was like, do you really think it's not the correct way to play? Because it is. Like, I don't understand what you're like. That part's not actually a joke. It's just I said it arrogantly on purpose. But like, it's the best way to play. I don't know if it's correct, but it's the best way. Anyway, continue. Yes, Master Race.
So the new Intel processors came out. I don't know if you've been following it all, but there's a little bit of a hubbub going on.
Only with a little bit of the hubbub about these benchmarks that people seem to be throwing around.
It's twofold. the benchmarks, which I wasn't even going to get into, but the whole thing with Intel and they're using a third party and them fucking skewing the benchmarks.
Well, don't fucking ask me if I've seen it, because that's all I've seen.
Well, like, okay, so basically Intel has taken features that are traditionally on the i7 and moved it up to the i9, and they've stretched out.
So
they pulled in NVIDIA.
Yeah, I think we talked about that last week, as they moved the hyper-threading up to 9.
Exactly. And the pricing's... So, like, that's interesting.
He will lick my face, but there's sometimes where if he's up here and I've got him, he'll bite my ear.
I thought that's what he was going to do.
The very first time I ever held him, before we actually adopted him, he started licking my head and he bit my ear.
And you were like, oh, winner.
Yep, I'm like, he's mine. It's not a question. They're like, he doesn't do that to many people. I'm like, we're fine. We're friends.
We're all fine here. How are you? Well, Star Wars reference for you.
I didn't shoot first.
Basically, that's not what she said. No.
Hey. No one's pregnant.
Mom. Basically, I just wanted to get your thoughts on this whole idea between Intel and NVIDIA, and the idea that they're essentially making their products more expensive for the same performance. If you
well, kind of. So, hold on. Let me just pull up your notes here, so I make sure I shit talk this correctly. 8 core, 6 core, 12. So, yeah, moving the... All right, bud. Hold on. I love you.
It's hard to quantify exactly on paper because, like, obviously the core counts are a little bit different.
Yeah, the core counts, thread counts are different.
The benchmarks are, like, something like, I think on average, the new i9 is, like, 15% faster than your processor.
And the thing is, an i7 9700K, which is 420, to an i9 9900K being 580, I think is the problem. I think if it was a 420, say, to 500 jump instead of 580, we wouldn't be talking about this.
It's hard. I think I don't know. I think the issue is the second half of that on the written part. The fact that you can get an 8700K for like $390, which I think that's also a step joke of an 8700K to a 9700K not being a real jump, but the 8700K to a 9900K is a jump. But I think 390 to 580, saying it's $200 better, is not correct. Yeah, but I don't know. Like I feel like they're kind of being a bit disingenuous with the models there because like. So I can also still run a
4790K behind me and push and be fine.
Yeah. No, like, all right, so the jump from the 7700K to the 8700K was decent. It was standard, I think it was like a 20-30% jump.
Yeah.
And then the pricing was like, because the 7700K, usually what happens is it starts at MSRP and then it drops down.
Before we talk about this, are these MSRP numbers?
Yeah.
Okay, so I got my processor for $100 off then.
Yeah. These aren't street prices. Well, I guess they're street prices, and the fact is, like, if you go to Newegg, this is what they are. You go to Amazon, this is what they are.
Okay.
Not under, like, ideal circumstances. So, like, the jump from the 8700K, which you can get for $390, to the 9700K, which is its quote-unquote replacement, and it's $420, but there's almost they're essentially performance parity. Like there's not much difference between the two.
And then I guess technically, if we want to talk about the NVIDIA one, I'm going to move off the processor one.
They're just very similar situations.
Yeah, the thing with the NVIDIA one, I think the problem there is because they're trying to push a new technology.
Yeah, which
doesn't do anything yet. But they're still all right. Here's the tech. It's gonna get there. We're out first. Mm-hmm. Now they can use these to create games using this technology. So we'll get there.
Yeah.
So they're a little different. The card thing is a little different.
I get that point, and like that's NVIDIA's point as well, but at the same time, like you're asking customers to buy on a promise that has no tangible benefit to them.
That's literally not up to you either.
And might not have any tangible benefit because, like, say the RTX stuff comes true and they get it to work and it comes out in games, but then, like, the performance hit, which is kind of what we've seen already from the tech demos, like, there's a massive performance hit.
Yeah, the only way...
No one's going to turn it on.
The only way would be to get the very first, like, late 2019, 2020 game that says, is better with RTX.
Yeah.
And then they put up the side-by-sides to clearly show RTX working perfectly and not taking a performance dip and a 1070 or 1080 comparison. And they go, this is your 2080 and this is your 1080. This is what they can put together, where it's, you know, you're optimized in both situations.
Mm-hmm.
And then you might see the change. I just think we're a little early.
Yeah.
But I think the Intel one I think is worse.
I think early is kind of an understatement because, like, I doubt they're going to have the tech working well enough by the end of this generation. Like, maybe by the end of this generation, but not inside this generation.
Well, I think a lot of it'll come down to devs too, though, and like how they can actually manipulate that technology.
Yeah.
Rather than dropping in 9,000 light boxes, you know, what can they actually do?
I just find it interesting that this is the hardware trends at the moment. And it's like, I don't think we've ever had a situation.
I mean, if we really want to talk about that, look at phones.
Yeah. Yeah, that's another thing.
Phones is a worse offender, I think, than both of these.
Mm-hmm. It's just interesting that
$1,000 and I just slightly move a camera. Like, come on. Come on.
It really is too, like... And the best part about this, though, especially with the cameras, is it's not the cameras aren't better. It's the algorithms that have gotten better. The software's better. Like, which you could put on my phone. My old phone.
No, give me $1,200. And take this new piece of metal.
It's stainless steel.
Oh.
Instead of aluminum.
You're going to put a case on it? Oh. Fucking. Oh. Don't even start. As we mentioned, I'm sure nobody cares, but we talked about me getting a new phone for like 2 months before this month.
Mm-hmm.
I told you the other day, I've thrown it out the window now because none of them entice me.
Honestly, I feel at this point...
Honestly, what I would do is, and I can't find one in a store, so I'd have to find one online, I would just rip that screen protector off, put a new one on, maybe put a new case on, call it a day. I'll reactivate my Droid 2 that's upstairs.
I feel like at this point, like if you got
T-Flip's upstairs.
I could T-Flip.
Shit, I could T-Flip.
If you got to the point where you're like your phone is inoperable for some reason, or you like really kind of just want an upgrade, I would buy like not an old phone, like the previous generation of phone, like a Pixel 2 XL or whatever, for like I don't know,
cheap,
$400 maybe at most, and
call it a day.
Yeah,
that's what my thought is. I'm going to run this thing till it dies.
Yeah, which is really satisfying. When you do that, like I did that with my iPhone 4S.
Yeah,
it was
the worst part is it didn't even die. It killed it. It literally committed suicide.
It did commit suicide.
It jumped out of your pocket and to land on one floor that has landed on numerous times, and I happened to be standing next to it when it happened.
It just shattered. It just didn't like you. It was like, name.
This guy, I can't stand him. I must commit seppuku. Anyway. Speaking of Man in the High, they murdered some people fucking violently this year.
Really?
One of the episodes I was watching might be episode 5 or 6. I can't remember if they start or end it this way. I think they might start it this way. They have a guy strung up to a pole.
So the coasts are separate. The coasts are split Japanese, German, right?
Yes, and there's a neutral zone.
Okay. Which is okay.
Like the Rockies, basically, is the neutral zone.
And so who is doing the vicious murdering? The Japanese?
Japanese in this one. Well, I mean... Everybody murders everybody.
Yeah. I feel like the Germans are more just like, I'll shoot you in the head and be done with it.
Yeah. Well, they don't. The German guys seem to not use bayonets as much. The Japs all have bayonets on their guns.
Oh, of course.
So, key point there. They all have bayonets. This guy is strapped up to a post, basically telephone pole, tied to it. Mm-hmm. He's already clearly been beaten to shit.
Yeah.
One eye swollen shut, blood,
shirt off,
bruises.
I'm assuming?
No, shirt on.
Oh, shirt on. Wow.
The chief inspector, yada yada, gives him a speech. Then walks up. There's a single file line of soldiers with rifles with bayonets on them. Takes the first guy's rifle, stabs the guy on the pole in the chest with the bayonet.
That's rude.
Takes it back, gives it back to the soldier, walks away to the side to now watch this, and just says, basically, whatever the actual command is, I'm not going to do it, but it's just go. And then one by one, stab, moves, next guy, stab, moves, next guy, stab. And they just all keep just jabbing it with bayonet. It's like, Jesus.
He doesn't, does he make it through all of them? Still alive?
No, I think they stopped showing you after the fourth one. I'm pretty sure it's clear that he's dead at the fourth one.
I was gonna say, usually a good stab or two in the chest will.
Well, that, but also if depending on how they do it, they literally could just disembowel you and it wouldn't matter.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah, no, I'm not about that. If we talk about ways of torture, I'm gonna strip. Never mind. Canoe torture. There's methods that you can find on Wikipedia. That's like a whole thing, and we're way too long into this. So
what are you looking up torture for?
It was a high school or college paper, I think, describing ethics about like electric chair and stuff like that, and other banned ways to kill people. Like, you can't wagon wheel people anymore, obviously. One, because there's no wagon wheels, and two, because it's illegal. But like the electric chair or injections and stuff like that, it was a criminology class, I think, discussing means to end people's lives. There's some bad ones in there. Drawn and quartered.
Yeah.
Obviously. The swamp one is two canoes, bugs, and hunt, and just, yeah.
That sounds wonderful.
It was probably my favorite because it seems like it was one of the most like creatively awful.
The Viking one is still...
It was like the only one that didn't take brute force.
Mm-hmm. It was like slow.
And it was clearly a personal message, like, fuck you, and fuck you in particular. That's it. The rest of your people are dying to these burning wagon wheels. You and I are going to the swamp. It's just like, okay.
I'm still a big fan of the Viking one from the Viking show we've talked about before, I believe.
I think we've talked about it, but I don't remember it.
Yeah, flay them. Open them to break the ribs, open up their back, and then hang their lungs over their shoulders.
Yeah, yep. Colombian necktie, same thing.
It's fucking... Like, who comes up with this
tongue
shit?
And throat, and yeah.
Like, I feel like you have to be sitting there, like...
If you're eating dinner.
Like, really thinking about this, you know?
Oh, there's a certain place in hell for the guys that back in medieval times were like, hey, Tom, how do you think we should kill this guy today? And their equivalent of a whiteboard at the time, which is a stick in the ground. And they're just like, maybe this way I'll do it? And then the poor soul might not have been that poor of a soul because he might have been obviously a criminal, or back then they were a witch, burn them, were tested on these methods of torture. Like, I didn't kill him. Shit. And now this guy is just in shambles, broken everywhere. And they're like, well, get the rock. Anyway, number 9, back into the stories that we can try to finish this up. Number 9 is just a hodgepodge I threw together that I'm going to hit you with some quick headlines. Give me first thoughts come to your head, if any come at all.
Probably none.
Soul Calibur 6, people are using the lizard character creator and making their dongs huge.
Well, that was bound to happen.
Yeah, it was. Next one, Halo Wars Definitive Edition is free on Steam this weekend.
That's cool, I guess.
Spider-Man had an update, and it trolled the audience with adding stickers into the game, and one of the stickers is a puddle sticker.
I like that. I respect that.
And on their Twitter account, I believe it was the Spider-Man one or the Sony one or the PlayStation one of the three, was the picture that everybody complained about, that we talked about, with him up in the rafters looking over that exact thing. And they took all the puddle stickers and just slammed them all in that thing. And they're like, now with stickers. And Concrete...
Did you see the thing that Sony posted about the update or whatever?
What update?
The Spider-Man update. You know the Spider-Man meme with the two Spider-Mans pointing at each other?
New Game Plus meme.
Yep.
Yeah, and they're just like, you. Yeah.
That was good.
And Concrete Genie has been moved to spring 2019, officially kicked out of 2018.
Oh, we hit midnight. My screen turned yellow.
Oh. Yeah, Concrete Genie. That was that art on the wall one where you drew the monsters as you were getting beaten up as a kid.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, the bullying one.
Yep, that one got moved into spring 2019, probably April 24th. 26th, whatever it was.
Or February 22nd.
Yeah, or February 22nd. The main, it's not actually a main topic, but what I just wanted to call out in our deals is that there are probably Halloween sales everywhere you look for some spooky games.
Nice.
I like that. This is my very spooky voice. And I am Count Chocula.
1 deal.
2
deals.
3 deals. Ha ha. Anyway, if you want to watch a really funny video, type in The Count Censored. Enjoy yourself, and then just send me a message when you've watched it. Because The Count Censored is a great video that all should watch and enjoy. Have you watched The Count Censored?
Probably. I think I did.
I'm pretty sure you have. I'm playing it when we're done with this. Humble Bundle, monthly one, still the same. Hollow Knight, Hitman, and 7 Days to Die, and more when it comes up in the beginning of November. Get all your Twitch Prime, PlayStation Plus, and Xbox games with gold from those services themselves. And that being said, Matt and I are going to go play some video games, probably play some Hitman. You guys might see that at some point if Nate ever learns how to edit. We might play some Overcooked 2, because that's sitting on this computer too. Now there's a lot more things to do. We can actually throw food at each other now. And I think you can actually throw food into like pots and shit.
Speaking of food, I'm fairly certain I'm just like sweating grease out of my pores from that calzone.
So that's the other thing. Matt and I had calzones tonight, and our bowels are going to just implode with grease. But they were actually really good.
They were really good. And like, yes, they were greasy, but I didn't think they were overly greasy.
I think the only time I actually ran into a grease problem, and here's the thing, I don't know if I ran into a grease problem or a problem of just, cooking vegetables releases water in them as well.
Yeah.
At the bottom of mine, the way that I was eating it vertically, at the bottom I was
seeping,
able to just like seep and cover my hands in liquids.
Yeah. Sausage probably didn't help.
Yeah. That's greasy. The other thing, yeah.
All right.
But it was a good time. Use the Reddit. Leave posts. People, there's a forum for submitting questions. Just fucking do it. Give me questions. Give me feedback. Give me everything. Give me your opinions. All I want is love. No. All right. Goodbye.